Hey guys, Jcc2224 here, and welcome to the redux of my top 10 favorite Marvel Legends. It's been about 2 years since I did my last Marvel Legends video, and I figured, hey, my opinions have changed quite a lot on my top 10 favorites, and I figured I would show them here today. Now, I must have some disclaimers because I know how some people are. Yes, I do not read comics. I am not a comic fan. I just don't have the time to read comics. Now, does that mean I can't appreciate cool action figures? No. I think Marvel Legends are just cool toys and cool action figures. I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of the source material when it comes to who they are, what they are, but I don't read their stories. I'm not too heavily involved. Do I watch the MCU? Yes, I watch the MCU and I really enjoy it. Have I been collecting Marvel Legends forever? I mean, I've been collecting them since about 2013, but then again, I was very, very picky. I only had a few, and I still don't have a large collection. I'm not going after every X-Men, every Avenger. I basically just get what I think is cool, and that's that. I don't have the largest collection. You may strongly disagree with the items on this list. That is why it is my favorites list. It's not the best Marvel Legends ever. It's not the go-to list for the best Marvel Legends to ever get from anything ever. They're just my favorites. And what you're looking at here are 3 honorable mentions, because I wanted to speak very briefly on the previous list, as well as some honorable mentions I just want to get out there. Any Iron Man figure, basically. Almost any Iron Man I would love to put on this list, but I limited it to just 2 on the actual list. This is the Extremis Iron Man, and I really like it. MCU stuff, there's a lot of cool MCU figures, most notably this Netflix Daredevil. I really like the Age of Ultron Amazon set Black Widow. There's a few that are just really, really great. I like a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy ones, but yet again, I limited the MCU stuff to basically just Iron Man stuff on this list, but I do love MCU figures. I think they're pretty good. And also Nova. Nova was on the previous list that I made 2 years ago. If you want to check out that list, it has changed quite a bit. There are not nearly as many figures that are staying from that list as there have been figures that have been replaced. This list is a little more thoughtful. I really thought about what are my favorite Marvel Legends. Now, one of them, yes, is brand new. It is brand new to me, but I don't care. Right when I opened it, 10 seconds after I opened it, I knew this is one of my favorites. So, with the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get on to the top 10 list, and I am warning you, besides number 1, it's generally out of order. I can't really order these. I can't really rank them. So let's get on going with number 10. Number 10, I probably have to give to Spider-Gwen. I just think this figure is really cool. I like the look of it. And yes, if you're wondering, that is the unmasked head in the hood. How that happened? The hair on mine just kind of came off. It just kind of came off. It just came unglued. You can see, like, it's not broken. It just came unglued. And I haven't glued it back on because I actually kind of like the look of this. I guess Emma Stone. Here, let's get some light in. I guess kind of looks a lot like Emma Stone. I think that looks nice because, hey, she was Gwen in those movies. I like this figure. I just think it looks nice. It's nice and sleek. I like the costume design. I don't really know too much about her besides, oh, it's an alternate universe where Gwen Stacy was bit instead of Peter Parker. But, hey, I like it. It's number 10. Number 9 goes to the Target 3-pack Ultron. Now, I do not have the Beetle figure that this is a repaint of, and I really have no interest in getting it because I don't think that figure will give me any satisfaction that this figure already has not. This is just great. I have the Iron Man 3 Ultron, I have the Age of Ultron Bath Ultron, but this is just still my favorite. I love this color of gray. I love the little red tubes and orbs all over him. This head sculpt is just simply divine in how evil it looks. This is just such a cool figure, man. If you're an Ultron fan, you owe yourself to get this thing. Because not only is it just a nice looking Ultron, but it also looks really nice alongside the Age of Ultron version as an Ultron drone. So if you'd want to do that, hey, you can do that. I do indeed enjoy this. It's very, very easily on the list. And I'm not sure if it was on the list before. I want to say it was, but it certainly has to stay. Number 8 goes to Ghost Rider, the older Ghost Rider from Hasbro Marvel Legends. And yes, this is just a broken necklace I've just kind of draped over him. I think it looks alright, don't you think? Yes, they have made the new Ghost Rider in the more blue costume with the nicer looking skull, but I'm not too fussed to get that because I do not have the shelf space for his motorcycle. I am just happy with this figure. I love the head sculpt. I think the head sculpt is just perfect for Ghost Rider. This one is way more transparent and translucent. I think translucent is the word to use here. It's more translucent than the newer one they've released, but I don't care. I think it still looks really cool. I do prefer the bony look of the newer one, but I also really don't mind this. It just makes it look like it's even more on fire, and I can't complain about it being on fire because that's kind of the whole point of Ghost Rider. Yeah, number 8. Number 7 goes to the Iron Man Mark 43. I gave it some thought, and I realized, hey, this is probably my favorite MCU 6-inch Iron Man. I'm sorry, it just is. I just think it poses the best. I think it looks the best. The Mark 50 from Infinity War is alright, but I don't really think it's as good as this. Same with the Mark 46. I just think they just got it good. Now, granted, when the Mark 7 comes out for the MCU 10th line, probably will replace this on the list. I'm not gonna lie, it probably will. But I still really enjoy this thing. It just looks so cool, and it has a nice Tony head. It's not the best Tony head, but it has a nice Tony head. Excuse my voice right now, I'm fighting a cough, and it's not the easiest thing to fight. Have you ever fought coughs? They're no fun. Anyways, number 6, it goes to War Machine Mark 1 from the Iron Man 2 line. This is just, oh, it's just so chunky. It's just such a chunk, such a chunkster. I don't know, it just feels good, it looks good. It's just such a great design for War Machine. It is just, look at it. Look at this thing. I still feel like out of all the War Machine figures they've made, this is the best one. Is it perfect? No. The hips are kind of those old, stupid universal joint hips that are really hard to work around. Like, you can't just move them forward. You have to swivel it and then hinge it. I don't like that at all. But his arms move great. His hands move fine, his torso moves great, his head has pretty much as much range as you really need for a bulky armor like this. I don't have much of a problem with this. This is very, very easily worthy of staying on the top 10 list for as long as it can. Getting on to the top 5, and number 5 is very controversial because in my last list, this guy was on it and people were saying this is the worst Venom ever. I don't care, this is my opinion. This is just what I think of when I think of Venom. I think of a figure that looks like this. It has the right amount of chunk, while at the same time not looking like a monster. I do like the head sculpt. I'm not a huge fan of Venom with his just mouth open and the tongue out and everything. I kind of prefer it just closed like this. Just makes him look more like a controlled monster that actually has, I don't know, that can actually speak. Because, hey, that's what Venom is, right? I like the articulation on it. It uses the old Sabretooth Toy Biz mold. It's not perfect, though. Like, that doesn't like staying up. But this side likes staying up fine. One issue, though, it does have these weird Sabretooth spikes in his elbows. They could have just retooled that elbow joint. Why didn't they? Why didn't they do that? I actually do like the claws, though. I actually like the claws. I think it's kind of fitting for Venom to have claws like that. Cool looking figure, cool posing thing. I'm actually quite the Toy Biz fan. You'll notice that the top 5 is actually pretty healthily amounted with Toy Biz figures. I'm not even sure if that was proper English, but that is what I'm going with, okay? That's what I'm going with. There's number 5. Number 4 goes to a brand new figure in my collection, and that is the new Jim Lee Wolverine from the X-Men Apocalypse Wave. I'm sorry, this is just so good. This is just so good. It is just so good. Look at it. Look at this thing. This is like the perfect Wolverine. I'm personally the biggest fan of the Tiger Stripe costume. I just think it's his coolest looking costume in my opinion. It's the costume that I grew up with because, hey, I'm an early 2000s kid. You know, this was kind of the costume going around that time. I like it. It's cool. I really do dig it. It just, the paint is just so nice and crisp on the Tiger Stripes. The head sculpt is just so perfect for Wolverine. The arms just look so perfect for Wolverine. They really put a lot of love and care into this figure, and you can tell. And I am just so happy that it's a thing that exists and a thing that I have. Look at it. Look at it, man. It's great. It's great. I like it. It's good. Bye-bye. Number 3 may be a little controversial, but I don't care. It's my list, my favorites. I love the Toy Biz Sandman. I love it to death. I don't see how people prefer the icky-looking flat Hasbro one over this. Because look at this. Look at the texture on this thing. It is just covered in awesome sand texture. It's almost like the sculptor just sculpted the body and then took some bristles of a toothbrush or something and just dotted it to make it look like sand, and it works so well. It works so amazingly well. And this thing is beautiful. It poses great. It's really nice and durable. This head sculpt, like, you don't really see head sculpts like this nowadays from Marvel Legends. They almost all kind of go for the same expression. And this guy's actually looking different and unique. It kind of reminds me of the new Multiple Man that they have for the same wave that Wolverine was in, because that has some really nice head sculpts. The hair looks nice. I just think this is superior to the new one in almost every way. It does have alternate hands as well, if you want to give him his, well, they do pop off. That's kind of the point of interchangeable hands. He does have his axe here. He does have articulated fingers, so you can kind of have an open palm, or it's mostly just supposed to be a fist. I don't really mind articulated fingers. They don't look the worst, but hey, if I had the choice, I would probably say, you know, you don't have to throw that in. But yeah, this thing is up there, man. This is one of my favorites. Oh my god, I love it. Now, I was thinking whether or not I should include baths in this list, but honestly, I was just thinking there's only going to be one bath that would make the list. That is the Age of Ultron Hulkbuster, and that is what is number 2, because this is my list. That's how I feel like, and this thing is great. Look at it. This is the old American version. This is the first release of it, so it's not the international version that has like the nice, deeper candy red. That's the version I would prefer to have, but hey, this one still looks really nice. It poses really nice for its size. It is so heavy. You could, I was about to say kill a kid with this, but that is really dark and terrible. I would not suggest doing that. You could throw this through a window and it would probably break. How about that? That's a little less violent, just a little bit less. What can I say? Look at it. It's huge, it's large, it is in charge, and it's detailed all over. It's not the best detail. A customizer could certainly paint this and make it look beautiful. I'm sure people already have like 100-fold, but it's great. It's great, and I like it, and it's my number 2 favorite. Now, I would say this is probably my number 2 favorite. I can say that this is properly ranked among the list. But what is number 1, you say? Well, I'll show ya. My number 1 favorite Marvel Legend is probably McFarlane's Spider-Man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got this for an amazing deal. I got it for under $7. I think it was like $6.50. And what can I say? It lives up to the hype. This thing looks great. It just poses great. It's my favorite Spider-Man. It's the design I think of when I think of Spider-Man. I'm more of a fan of like the grittier looking Spider-Man. Sure, I do like the nice shiny Spidey from time to time, like the pizza Spidey. I do have that figure and I do like it. But this is just, I love the wash on it. I love the detail. The head sculpt is just so perfect. It is just so Spider-Man to me. This is just what I think of when I think of Spider-Man. Now, is this figure perfect? To me, it pretty much is, but to some people, I can see the problems. Yet again, like I said, if I had the choice of just saying, you know, you can hold that, you can hold the articulated hands, you can hold those, I would say yes, especially because I really don't want to break this thing. And these hands are so skinny, these fingers are so small, I'm worried they're going to break one day. Also, these hip joints, this is a complaint I hear from people. Hey, it's an action figure. It needs to have joints somehow. Can Pizza Spidey do this? I don't think so. So I would rather have a Spidey that can actually pose instead of look just slightly more streamlined. And I feel like a lot of the people that would complain about those hips are also the people that collected the amazing Yamaguchi figures, and those have the ugliest joints I've ever seen. But anyways, this Spidey is great, and it is certainly my number 1 favorite. So there is my top 10 favorite Marvel Legends Redux. There it is again, look at that. Yes, I have addressed the fact that I am not a huge Marvel Legends collector. I do not read Marvel comics, I just appreciate cool action figures. And is that a problem? I don't think so. But for some people, it probably is. And if it is a problem for you, then I'm sorry. That seems like a not my problem. I just enjoy the toys I enjoy, man. And that is that. So thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it just as much as I enjoyed making it. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your top 10 favorite Marvel Legends list down in the comments below. Check out my social medias down in the description if you have a chance. Also, my P.O. box is open if you want to send me some memorific goodness. And as always, have a good day, and may the Force be with you. Bye.